It gives me great pleasure to introduce the valedictorian for Sackville High School's graduating class of 2021, Akwaima Akpan.
Today, we gather in groups no larger than 25 and in our family bubbles to celebrate with the class of 2021. Although this is definitely not how we envisioned our time together would end, grads, we did it. Barely. The road to today has not been easy, and it has been littered with bumps, hills, and curveballs that have been thrown at us. Just 2 months ago, I thought I would never see any of you guys until summer. But we got to go back to in-person school, and I can proudly present this address in the school and semi-in-person. Before I start, I have to thank a few people. First, my parents. Thank you for being patient with me as I grow, and I cannot imagine that was easy. Thank you for all the sacrifices you've had to make for me and everything you've taught me. Without your selfless love, I would not have been able to become the confident, ambitious person I am today. To Eder and Amem, thank you for being the best sisters I could have asked for. And to Kufrai, thank you for being the best little brother ever and my favorite brother. I love you all very much. To my teachers, thank you for coming to school each morning excited to teach. You never gave up on us, you never let us down, and you didn't turn around and desert us during online school. Your enthusiasm and passion fueled my excitement to learn each day. Thank you to Keith for continually supporting me and all the African Nova Scotian students. Your love and support for each and every one of us is so greatly appreciated, even when you were chasing us down the halls to talk about grades. Thank you to all my friends. Your friendships, whether it has been from when we were 2 years old or if it has just been a few short months, have made an imprint on me, and I do not take that for granted. On behalf of all graduates, thank you to all the parents, coaches, instructors, and everyone who has been a part of our lives. And finally, members of administration, custodial staff, and student council, thank you for making this event happen. Amidst all the uncertainties this year, you've created some sense of normality for our senior class. Although we've missed out on many things, such as getting to hear music being played over the PA during class switch, I believe between Faith singing to Hey There Delilah, if you can even call it singing, and Ryan's mini Katy Perry concert in the bio lab was more than enough. And there may not have been a grad barbecue with a hypnotist and games, but we had the most epic and memorable water balloon and gunfight this school has ever seen. To be honest, I struggled to find the right words for my speech. I didn't want to come up here and just say cliche after cliche, and I know most of you won't care to hear what I have to say or take the time to watch this speech. Ever since you walked through the gym doors yesterday or earlier today, you probably haven't given this school another thought, and after today, you don't have to. There'll be no more waking up at 7 a.m. or 8:30 if you like to live life on the edge and coming to Sackville High. You'll never hear Miss Hopkins reminding you to sanitize your hands as you enter the building. There'll be no more hanging out in Miss West's art room at lunch or in the cafeteria. And you'll never have to roll your eyes again because you went to the bathrooms that were always conveniently locked whenever you had to go. And you'll never be able to say, I am a Sackville High student. For some of you, that's what you've been waiting for, the day when you are officially done with high school. But at some point down the road, you'll feel nostalgic and look back at the memories we've shared. The rush of cars in the morning trying to find a good parking spot, the smell of warm cinnamon pizza filling the school, hearing Dakota and Faith welcome you each morning on the announcements, and a personal favorite of mine, being greeted by the breakfast program volunteers with juice boxes every day. We've shared countless laughs and good times together, from throwing a mini birthday bash for Keith, our school somehow becoming the bunny breeding central of Sackville, Kobe attempting to prank all the drivers by putting their windshield wipers up while they're in class, our absolutely horrendous parking jobs, hearing Faith's commentary during announcements because she forgot the mic was on, going to the Sackville Millie Games, our very first day of school where we were welcomed with the carnival, the band collaborating with Miss Muse to make meaningful music, seeing people run to class because they spent 15 minutes waiting in the cafeteria line for a cookie, and the priceless conversations we've shared at lunchtimes and breaks. While I know some of you have had the best time in high school, many others did not. The past year and a half have been extremely hard on everybody, and I've chosen not to speak further about it. I can assume we are all tired of hearing and talking about the panoramic, also known as the P word, who shall not be named. Today is the first step we are taking into what some call the real world. As Queen Elsa says, we're walking into the unknown. This is a place full of responsibilities for us, not our parents. A place where we're going to have to call our own doctors to book our own appointments. For those of you who will be moving out, there will be no more using the excuse, my mom didn't wake me up on time. You will be in charge of yourself. You'll be in charge of paying your bills. And if you are in Mr. Vincer's math class, you know what will happen if you don't pay your credit card in full and on time. Remember, the interest rate from the credit loan companies is not good. We will be in charge of creating our schedules, our daily habits, and choosing the people we surround ourselves with. So even if high school wasn't the best time for you, maybe because you lost out on your senior season, you just genuinely didn't like school, or because you were picked on, as we step into a new phase of life, we each get to choose. You get to choose the type of person you become, the people you will surround yourself with and call family and friends, and you get to choose what you want to do for the rest of your life. Scary, isn't it? But you don't have to make all those decisions today. But you can make some. Today, I choose to learn. I choose to learn from my experiences and let them help shape the person I become. I choose to be kind and to care for others. I choose to listen to people's experiences with racial inequalities, injustices they experienced, and their mental health battles. I choose to respect others and their experiences and not to belittle them. And I choose not to allow other people's assumptions about me guide what I think of myself. These are some examples of choices you make every day. From putting on a smile to holding the door open for someone else, the little choices and actions you do show who you are. So I ask you, while you were here, what did you learn? And how will you let that shape who you become? And before you roll your eyes and say, Akwaima, I didn't learn anything, you did. Think long and hard over the past 4 years. Maybe you learned how to do long division, or you learned that you really like biology. But I know for a fact, every one of you learned that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. But I'm not asking about what you learned in school. I'm asking what you learned about yourself. When we were little, we watched shows such as Arthur, Tupi and Binu, and the Backyardigans. We played make-believes, Barbies, and Man Tracker on the playground. But as we started to get older, we traded those shows with SpongeBob, Sweet Life on Deck, and Johnny Test. We played with Beyblades and traded silly bands on the playground as if we were dealing illegal stuff. We went from wanting the newest books and pens from the Scholastic Book Fair to wanting the newest clothes and accessories so we can keep up with the trends. We are all survivors of the Beliebers, One Directioners, and the Wheeling phases. We played outside and hung out together, something that I never thought would become not allowed. Continuing with the throwbacks, I would like to read part of a book to you all. When I was in grade primary, my parents came to my class to make a presentation for Black History Month, and my mom read this book to my class. If you're in Miss Warner's class, you may remember this day, probably because we all got to dress in my dad's traditional Nigerian clothing. Although this is a children's book, it has some valuable reminders for all of us. Not to mention, it's from the iconic show Sesame Street. The book is entitled, We're Different, We're the Same. We're different. Our noses are different. We're the same. Our noses are the same. They breathe and sniff and sneeze and whiff. Our skin is different. Our skin is the same. It tells us something is hot or cold or wet or dry. It knows a lot. Muscles and bones are wrapped inside it. It keeps in warmth. It keeps out dirt. It warns us so we don't get hurt. Our eyes are different, but our eyes are the same. They see, they blink, they weep, they wink. Our bodies are different. Our bodies are the same. They stretch and bend and work and play. They all need food and rest each day. They dance and wriggle and ride a bike. They might look different, but they are alike. Our feelings are different, but our feelings are the same. Lonely, worried, scared, excited, happy, loving, glad, delighted. We're the same. We're different. And that's what makes the world such fun. Many kinds of people, not just one. A rainbow would be boring if it were only green or blue. What makes a rainbow beautiful is that it has every hue. So aren't you glad you look like you? We're different. We're the same. Whatever you're feeling today, whether you're excited, relieved, a little sad, or worried about the future, know that every single person who has graduated today or yesterday has felt those emotions too. In many ways, every single person graduating is different. From our experiences, what we look like, and what we want to do for the rest of our lives. But underneath all that separates us, grads, we're all the same. None of us know what the future will hold and how things will work out. Some of you might not even know what you want to do. But today we can all proudly say we are all Sackville High graduates. The future is going to be full of bumps and hills we have to climb, but it will never be as bumpy as the parking lot. If there's one thing you remember from what I've said, remember that despite all our differences, we're all just trying to navigate our way in this world. Which does not mean you negate your uniqueness, but embrace it and celebrate it and allow it to unite us. Life is made up of all the small choices we make each day. I hope you choose to always be kind to others and to yourself. I leave you all with a quote from Amanda Gorman, the youngest poet laureate in the U.S. When the day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is only light if we're brave enough to see it. Live life to the fullest, Kingfishers, and know that there are hundreds of good days ahead of us. Congratulations to the graduating class of 2009 plus 10. And as you've heard me say over the announcements many times before, have a great day, Kingfishers.